Okay.
Oh! Rip officer.
Let's go. 1 second coming.
We got smoke. Throwing smoke. Whoa! Oh my gosh! Holy crap. Hey guys, Operator Drewski here, and today, do you guys like pigs in a blanket? I really like pigs in a blanket, especially when they're blanketed by, you know, fire. Yeah, poor guys. But yeah, today we're... Actually, one sec. Let's just poof.
He's dead, he's dead.
I know he's dead. It's day of infamy. You gotta get the pigs in the blanket. You gotta get the bacon just right. Gotta get it just right. You can't have the raw bacon. Oh my gosh, looking back at the footage, I'm absolutely destroying right here. But, yes, today we are playing the Day of the Infamies. No, it's Day of Infamy. But this is basically what was a mod for Insurgency back in like late 2015. But once the developers of both Insurgency and the actual mod creators and modders of Insurgency joined together and worked so hard on the project, they decided to make their own actual independent standalone title. So this is Day of Infamy. This is a World War II, very, very realistic shooter based around the same exact mechanics that Insurgency uses. Insurgency, if you don't know, is a very, very popular, especially way back in like 2012, it was super popular first-person shooter title that basically brought all the realism and immersion of combat together into one little package. It's a very, very fast-paced, very smooth game. It runs amazing, and it just feels amazing. Not having a lot of like cluttering heads-up display and UI all around you all the time, and it's just such an amazing game, Insurgency. And I cannot believe just how many hours, I can't even remember how many hours I played on it. But back in the day, me and my buddies would play this one mission or this one scenario called Survival, and it was just the most terrifying thing. You would run around this town at midnight, and it was just, you would find these hostile players that were AI just running around trying to track you, and it was just the scariest thing. It actually was realistic because the darkness was truly dark. You sometimes had to turn on a flashlight, and that's the one game, I think, like ever, that I've actually been forced to turn on a flashlight to see something to be able to kill somebody. Here, I'm playing as, like, I think a Canadian or an Australian sniper. I actually felt like I was missing a lot of shots, but by the end of it, I actually had a really high amount of kills. I had, like, 14 kills by the end of it, and this was my first life on my first round of this game, and so I was really enjoying it. Basically, it's like Insurgency, but with icing on top. It's amazing how much they've refined, like, I guess the mechanics, the UI, the main menus and stuff of Insurgency, and also, there's also, like, some kind of form of character customization now. As you rank up, you'll get to these new, like, kind of units, and let's say you're in the U.S. Army, and there's different branches of the U.S. military, like there's the paratroopers, there's the Rangers, and there's all these others that have kind of different uniforms and stuff. In this game, as you rank up, I think it gives you the option to unlock those different types of uniforms and such. So you do have some customization to your character, unlike Insurgency, and there's a lot more kind of icing on the cake things. I think overall, the weapons in this game just feel better. I think they all run better, and they're a little bit more balanced than Insurgency was back in the day, and they just work really, really well. There's also, oh my gosh, I hope I have some amazing footage of it, but there are captains, or like fire team leaders. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they have the ability to aim in with their binoculars and basically call in airstrikes. And oh my gosh, the sounds of P-51 Mustangs coming down and just laying in like their machine guns into the ground with high explosive rounds is the most beautiful sound on earth, and it's sometimes the most scary sound on earth if you're a German.
Bomber, huh? Where's anti-air when you need it?
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think it's happening actually right now on the footage. It's there's some bombs dropping and stuff. But basically why I like this game is that it's very, very similar to Squad in that there's just no UI, there's no heads-up display, there's nothing other than very, very basic, realistic objectives like just take this bunker to do. There is really realistic aspects of this game, and even like, for example, the enemies that are being blown up in this game, unlike Insurgency, also have like limbs flying off their bodies. It's the most terrifying thing when a guy blows up and you see just his hand go flying somewhere in the distance. It's really, really terrifying. What's really fun to play as is the flamethrower, the flame trooper. This guy, I don't know if he's actually that powerful in the game, but once you get a good flank off and you get behind some enemies, you can walk into a room and just kill an entire squad within like 5 seconds with the flamethrower. It's amazing. I don't know how actually overpowered the flamethrower is because it's a very, very close range. I don't know if it's powerful at all, because I overheard some players that were more experienced than I talking about how it's a little bit underpowered actually. But I was playing with the flamethrower, and oh my gosh, the effect that the flamethrower does, just hitting the walls and stuff, is I think one of the best effects of a flamethrower I've seen. Like, I was just having so much fun. I accidentally joined a match. It auto matched me into an empty match, and I was like, oh, this is dumb. I'll just go rematch or something to try to find one that actually has people in it. But when I was in this empty match, I just clicked the flamethrower, and I just started flaming a wall right beside me just with the flamethrower, and I just watched that actual flame effect, and it was just beautiful. So many different textures, and the textures were all very, very well, like, recorded videos of flames or something. I don't exactly know how they do it, but it looked very realistic for what a flamethrower actually looks like, and it was just really, really well done. I do want to give it to them as well, like the main menu and things like that. Just the most basic things about a game, like the main menu, the UI of just the menus, and how everything is themed, like the loading screens and stuff, is a big deal to me as like how much effort the developer put into that game. I feel like these guys that made this game put more effort into their loading screens, their main menu, and things like that, over even AAA developers did. Like games like even, I don't know, I'm just trying to compare Battlefield or like Ghost Recon Wildlands. I'm just trying to compare it with any games that are like AAA titled. This was done with, I would guess, much lower budget, but it was much better in my opinion than other games in terms of just basic menu options and the theme and the looks of the menus. But yeah, I was playing this on my 1440p 144 hertz monitor, and I have to admit, with that smooth of a frame rate and this game running amazingly on my PC, it just felt awesome. Having a game run at like 120 plus FPS at all points in time is something that I look for as a very, very qualifying, like, you know, you optimize the game sort of thing. And I know this is on Source Engine, which is a very, very old engine, and it doesn't exactly look amazing in terms of like ground textures or like maybe grass, but I think the art style and also just the frame rate that you get from the kind of older tech of this game is still very, very good, and makes up for the fact that there aren't exactly that insane amount of graphics as you would find in, let's say, something like Battlefield 1. The coloration of all the maps is actually really cool as well. I found that different maps all had kind of like a different theme, or like some had sunset, some had dawn and dusk, and some had, you know, nighttime, and some had daytime. Some had rainy or snowy days, and others just had clear skies. It was interesting to see those kind of different themes, and I think that the coloration and like kind of the art style, I would say, of the maps was very, very good. There are some maps that have just destroyed, absolutely demolished towns, but they are absolutely balanced. I think the map creators of this game are super underrated. Like the map looks good and it plays good. I think the one thing for map creators that a lot of people don't really understand is that they have to create a map that seems realistic and also is perfectly balanced. Like, CSGO Dust 2. I have to admit, that map is like perfectly balanced. It literally has like a 50% win ratio on both sides and both teams, meaning that it's a almost nearly exactly perfectly balanced map. And also, it looks good. It looks realistic, like it's an actual location in an actual place in the middle of the, I don't know, Middle East or something. But these maps as well, I have to admit, look like they're actual war zones, or look like they're actual like places that, you know, people have dug trenches in. I think in Battlefield 1, for example, they try to match, you know, beauty just way too much with dirt trenches and stuff. And so sometimes you get these extravagant rose fields or something, and right beside it you have these crazy trenches. And you know that if there's trenches dug in a rose field, you would know that the tanks and trucks and everything have been just driving over those rose fields for like months at a time, and just probably would have made it super muddy and demolished by then. Like if you actually go and look at the real life World War I battlefields, it's much different than in Battlefield 1. But this game is very realistic. They put themes in their maps. Every single map has like a different tone to it and a different feel to it. And I think the map like choice, I don't even know how many maps there are, but I was never bored of a single map. I wanted to keep playing on the maps, and then it would switch me over to another one that I would be absolutely unaware of what was going on in. And over time, you do learn the maps, but there's a lot of flanking routes, there's a lot of ways to get around enemies, and I do like that as well, where most games, they kind of funnel you in to keep the action super action-packed. Well, this game is a little bit more on the realistic tone and allows you to flank around, not too much, not really unnecessary flanks and where the defensive team just can't do anything because they're being surrounded. But there are multiple, you know, usually more than 3 or 5 or even 6 lanes on a map to be able to get into an objective. And the weapon balance is also really good as well, where there's some classes who, you know, some have like an SMG type of weapon and they can run 10% faster. Others have flamethrowers but run slower, and then the captains and team leaders or whatever can call in airstrikes, and then the machine gunners can't aim down sight until they lay down and put their bipod up. Like the MG42, for example, I kind of like this idea. The MG42 is such a big gun. It shoots such a high rate of fire. The recoil is absolutely insane on that gun, and so it relies on you placing it down and bipoding it to be able to aim in on sights and get actual accurate shots off. Otherwise, your gun just literally goes straight in the air every time you fire it. It's hilarious just how you do a small burst with the MG42 and just goes and it goes straight up in the air. And I mean, at $20, and that's like a dinner for 2, I feel like that's pretty worth it to me. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the Day of Infamy gameplay. If you'd like me to play some more of this, please hit me up in the comment section down below, and I will maybe stream this, depending on how busy I am in the next few days. I might stream this, and I will give out 2 more codes on the live stream. If not, I'll give out the codes anyway, depending on whatever I'm doing. At some point, I'll give out the codes. I might do it on my Twitter, so go follow my Twitter at twitter.com/OperatorDrewski, and I will see you guys in the next one.